Every single day you wake up is another reminder that God's not finished with you yet. Another reminder that grace is still covering you, still chasing you down, still giving you breathe in your body and a reason to keep moving forward. But here's the thing. Life is loud, it's full of distractions, it's full of people, demands, opportunities, noise, and in the middle of all that, it becomes easy to forget the one thing that truly matters. Easy to get pulled in so many directions that you forget your foundation. Easy to chase success and miss the source of it. You want to live on purpose, you want to walk in your calling, then you've got to make a decision. God must be first. That sounds simple, right? But it's not. Because putting God first isn't about what you say when things are easy. It's about what you do when life gets real, when things fall apart, when the pressure hits. When no one's watching, when no one's clapping, that's where the truth comes out. You don't really know if God is first until everything else is tested, until the money runs low, until the relationships get rocky. Until the dream feels like it's slipping. That's when you find out what's truly first in your life, because whatever is first will show itself in how you respond. See, the problem with most people isn't that they don't believe in God, it's that they treat him like an accessory. Like a keychain, something they carry around just in case. But God isn't a backup plan. He's not your emergency exit. He's not something you add on to your goals. He's the goal. He's the source. He's the beginning and the end and everything in between. When you put him first, it changes the way you see everything else. You stop striving, you stop comparing, you stop chasing validation, you stop running after what doesn't feed your soul, and you start focusing on what matters. Putting God first means you wake up and check in with him before you check in with the world. It means you ask him before you act. It means you wait on his confirmation before you move. It means you obey him even when it's uncomfortable. Even when it costs you something, even when other people don't get it, because he's not just a part of your life. He is your life. That kind of living doesn't come by accident. It comes by choice. Every single day you have to choose who's in charge. Who's steering the ship? Who's calling the shots? If it's you, then don't be surprised when you hit dead ends. But if it's him, if it's truly God, you better get ready, because he'll lead you places your talent can't take you. He'll open doors your connections can't reach. He'll make ways where there were no ways. The world will tell you to put yourself first. Your goals, your dreams, your desires, your image. That's what culture promotes. Do what feels good. Follow your heart. Chase the bag. Get yours. But here's the truth. They don't tell you how empty that road really is. They don't tell you that you can gain the world and lose your soul. They don't tell you that success without God is a burden, not a blessing. They don't tell you that applause fades, beauty changes, fame disappears. But when you put God first, you build on something that never fades. Something that can't be shaken. Something that stands even when life doesn't go the way you planned. You have to understand. God doesn't want to be second. He doesn't want leftovers. He doesn't want the last 5 minutes of your day when you're tired. He wants the first. He wants the best. He wants your heart, your mind, your will, your time, your focus. He wants you to acknowledge him in everything. Not just in crisis, not just in church, not just when you're feeling emotional, but all the time. In your decisions, in your business, in your relationships, in your dreams, in your daily routine. That's where the power comes from. That's where the clarity lives. When you truly put him first, you start to see with different eyes. You start to discern what's really important. You stop reacting out of fear and start responding in faith. Putting God first doesn't mean you neglect your responsibilities. It means you do them with him. It means you stop living with divided loyalties. You stop having one foot in the world and one foot in the Word. You stop pretending to trust God while really relying on your own strength. You stop asking him to bless your plans and start asking him for his plans. And let me tell you, his plans are always better. They don't always look like what you expected, but they lead to peace. They lead to purpose. They lead to fulfillment. Because when God leads the way, you don't just survive, you thrive. A lot of people want the rewards of faith without the relationship. They want miracles, but they don't want intimacy. They want doors to open, but they don't want to wait. They want to shine, but they don't want to kneel. You can't skip that part. You can't fake the process. God isn't looking for performance. He's looking for surrender, and that's what putting him first really means. It means saying, God, I trust you more than I trust myself. I want what you want for me, even if it's not what I had in mind, even if it's slower, even if it's harder, even if it's different, because I know your way leads to life. You can be talented, educated, motivated, but if you're not aligned with God, all of that will wear you down eventually. You'll burn out. You'll get distracted. You'll chase the wrong things. That's why people can look successful on the outside, but be falling apart on the inside. Because success without spiritual alignment is just noise. It's a shiny distraction. It won't hold you together when life gets real. But when you put God first, you build from the inside out. You build something real. Something lasting. Something that can weather the storm. When you put him first, your priorities shift. You stop trying to please people and start living to please him. You stop measuring your worth by how much you produce and start remembering who you are. You stop panicking when things don't go your way because you trust that he's in control, and that trust becomes your anchor. It becomes your strength. It becomes the reason you can keep moving forward even when the way isn't clear. Because you're not walking alone. You've got the creator of heaven and earth walking with you, guiding you, carrying you. There's a level of clarity that only comes from putting God first. A peace that makes no sense. A confidence that doesn't come from money or fame or validation, but from knowing you're right where you're supposed to be, even if no one sees it, even if it looks small, even if it's hidden. When God is first, you don't need a spotlight. You don't need applause. You just need obedience, because obedience is where the favor is. Obedience is where the blessings live. Obedience is where the transformation happens. Sometimes God will strip things away just to get your attention. He'll let some doors close. He'll let some people walk away. He'll let the plan fall apart so you can remember who the real source is. Not your job, not your connections, not your followers, but him. And it's not because he's cruel. It's because he loves you too much to let you build your life on shaky ground. He wants to give you a firm foundation, but to build on the rock, you have to stop building on sand. So many people ask, why am I stuck? Why can't I move forward? And sometimes the answer is simple. You're trying to lead where you're supposed to follow. You're trying to take control where you're supposed to surrender. You're asking God to bless a plan he didn't write, and he's saying, put me first, seek me first, let me be your foundation again. When you do that, the confusion starts to lift, the pressure starts to break, the fear starts to fade, because now you're not carrying it all on your own. Now you've got God in the driver's seat, and when he drives, he doesn't miss turns, he doesn't crash, he doesn't need GPS. He already knows the way. You don't have to wait until everything falls apart to put God first. You don't have to hit rock bottom to come back to your senses. You can choose right now to make him the center. Not just on Sundays, not just when you feel desperate, but every day, every moment. That choice will change your life. That choice will protect your peace. That choice will unlock your purpose. Because when God is first, everything else finds its place. Putting him first means living with intentionality. It means guarding your time, guarding your mind, guarding your circle, guarding your habits. You stop wasting energy on things that don't feed your spirit. You stop getting caught up in every argument, every distraction, every trend. You start thinking long term, eternally. You start asking, does this honor God? Does this align with His Word? Is this part of my purpose? That kind of focus is rare, but it's powerful. God wants to bless you. He wants to use you. He wants to lead you into more, but He can't bless what's out of order. He won't promote a life that puts Him second. He's got to be first, and when He is, you'll see the difference. In how you walk, in how you speak, in how you lead, in how you love, because now you're not just existing. You're aligned. Now you're not just grinding. You're guided. Now you're not just surviving. You're surrendered. That's where the power is. That's where the growth is. That's where you discover who you really are. When you stop chasing and start seeking, when you stop striving and start surrendering, when you stop performing and start trusting. That's what it means to put God first. And once you taste the peace that comes from living like that, you'll never want to go back to anything less. There's a moment in your life when you've got to stop playing it safe and finally draw a line in the sand. A moment when you stop treating God like a hobby and start treating Him like the source. A moment when you stop putting Him on your schedule and start putting your schedule around Him. Because putting God first is not just a nice-sounding phrase, it's a spiritual discipline, a mindset, a way of life. It means that every single thing that matters to you, your future, your career, your family, your health, your dreams, falls under His authority. It means you live like everything belongs to Him because it does. And when you truly live like that, everything changes. Your decisions change. Your patience increases. Your peace grows deeper. You stop acting like you're in control of the outcomes and start walking by faith, not by sight. And that's the real challenge, because your ego will scream for control. Your pride will want credit. Your flesh will want attention. But your spirit knows better. Your spirit understands that true power doesn't come from taking control. It comes from surrendering it. It comes from saying, God, I want what you want. I don't want to force it. I don't want to fake it. I don't want to follow the world's way. I want your way. And sometimes God will test that. He'll test whether He really is first or just convenient. He'll test whether your faith is built on feelings or on truth. Because feelings come and go. Emotions shift like the wind. But truth stands firm. Truth holds strong when the storms come. Truth doesn't panic when the plans change. And if God is first in your life, then your life is built on that truth. That's the kind of foundation that holds through the fire. That's the kind of foundation that doesn't crumble when pressure comes. People talk about faith like it's only for church services or religious moments. But putting God first is faith in motion. It's choosing Him when no one else is. It's believing when you can't see the outcome. It's tithing when money is tight. It's praying when answers are delayed. It's serving when you're tired. It's walking away from opportunities that don't align with His values. It's turning down relationships that look good but don't lead to good. It's waiting when you want to rush. It's trusting when you want to fix it yourself. That's the test of priority. That's the test of loyalty. That's how you know God isn't just part of your life. He's at the center. Putting God first doesn't mean life gets easier. It means you finally know why you're here. You finally have clarity. You finally have peace in the waiting. You finally stop competing and start listening. Because when you're aligned with God, you don't have to fight for your place. You don't have to beg for attention. You don't have to scheme, hustle, or manipulate. You move with integrity. You speak with purpose. You stand in confidence because you know the one who goes before you. You know the one who holds your future. And that kind of assurance, that's priceless. This world will offer you 1,000 distractions. Social media will tell you to chase image. Culture will tell you to chase success. People will tell you to chase approval. But when God is first, you realize that none of that satisfies. None of that brings lasting joy. None of that fills the soul. The only thing that truly satisfies is living in step with your Creator, living with eternal perspective, living with your eyes fixed on something bigger than yourself. That's when you stop reacting to life and start leading it. That's when your decisions stop being driven by fear and start being driven by faith. And don't think for a second that God wants to hold you back. He's not trying to restrict your life. He's trying to protect it. He's not trying to limit your potential. He's trying to unlock it, but he can't bless a version of you that refuses to be surrendered. He can't pour favor on a foundation that's unstable, so sometimes he'll wait. He'll wait until your heart is right. He'll wait until your posture changes. He'll wait until you stop striving and start submitting. Because he doesn't just want your success. He wants your heart. And when you finally give it to him, when you finally lay it all down and say, "Lord, have your way," that's when the breakthrough comes. That's when the clarity comes. That's when the peace shows up in places it doesn't even make sense. That's when you walk into rooms you didn't even apply for. That's when doors open that no man can shut. Not because of your strength, but because of his favor, and favor flows where God is first. Favor follows obedience. Favor rests on surrender, but don't confuse favor with comfort. Sometimes putting God first will stretch you. Sometimes it will lead you into hard places, into rooms where you don't feel qualified, into seasons that don't look like the promise, into battles that test your character. But in every one of those moments, God is doing something deeper. He's shaping you, he's preparing you, he's building something in you that you can't see yet. He's not just trying to change your situation, he's trying to change your spirit because he knows what's ahead. He knows what you'll need to carry the blessing without being crushed by it. So if you're in a season where it feels like he's silent or distant or slowed, don't pull away, press in, put him first anyway. Worship anyway, obey anyway, trust anyway. There's something powerful that happens when you make that choice. It's like everything in your life starts to fall into divine alignment. Things that used to stress you out don't shake you anymore. Things that used to distract you don't matter anymore. You don't need the crowd to validate you because you've already been approved by heaven. You don't need constant affirmation because you're grounded in truth. You don't need to prove yourself because you've already been called. That's what it looks like to walk in authority, not arrogance, authority, the kind of authority that only comes from walking in alignment with your Creator. And here's the thing, you don't have to be perfect to put God first. You don't have to have it all together. You just have to be willing to make the shift, willing to surrender the plans you wrote. Willing to forgive who hurt you, willing to lay down your pride, willing to choose obedience over comfort. That's where transformation begins, not in perfection, but in surrender, not in achievement, but in alignment. And the beautiful thing is, once you put God first, he'll start ordering everything else. He'll handle what you can't. He'll fight battles you don't see. He'll guide you even when you feel lost. Sometimes the greatest act of faith isn't a big move, it's a quiet decision to trust God in the ordinary, to wake up and give him your first thoughts, to open his word before you open your feed, to pray before you panic, to thank him before you complain, to ask him before you act. That kind of daily discipline is where the fruit grows. That's where your roots deepen. That's how you build a life that lasts. You've got to ask yourself, what are you building on? What's the real foundation of your life? Because if it's money, popularity, comfort, success, those things can be taken. But if it's God, nothing can shake you. You'll still feel the pressure, sure. You'll still walk through storms. But you won't collapse because your anchor is unmovable, your hope is eternal, your source doesn't run out. That's what it means to be planted. That's what it means to be unshaken. That's what it means to truly live with God at the center. And don't just put him first when it's convenient. Put him first when it costs you, when it means saying no to opportunities that conflict with your values, when it means making time to serve when you're already busy. When it means giving when it's not easy. That's where real growth happens. That's where the deeper blessings live, the blessings that don't just look good, but last, the ones that shape your character, the ones that strengthen your faith, the ones that draw others closer to him. And people are watching. Whether you know it or not, your life is preaching. The way you walk, the way you love, the way you lead, it speaks. And when people see you choose integrity over popularity, humility over ego, purpose over profit, they see something different. They see God, and that's the goal. Not that people see you, but that they see him in you. That they see your light and want to know the source. That they see your peace and ask how you have it. That they see your joy and wonder where it comes from. That's how you lead. That's how you influence. Not by shouting, but by shining. So if you want to live with power, with peace, with purpose, put him first. In the morning before the noise, in your decisions before the pressure, in your relationships before your emotions. In your dreams before your ambition. Let him lead, let him guide, let him shape the path. And when you do, you won't just be walking through life, you'll be walking in your assignment. You'll be walking in divine rhythm. You'll be walking in the kind of alignment that causes heaven to back you. This world needs people who aren't just talented, but surrendered, who aren't just loud, but grounded, who aren't just chasing success, but carrying purpose. And that starts with one decision, a daily decision to seek first the kingdom, to honor God above all else, to make him your priority, your compass, your king, because when he's first, everything else doesn't just fall into place, it falls under his grace. And there's no better place to be than under the covering of God's favor, walking in the center of his will, fueled by his presence, living a life that brings glory to his name. So here's the truth that changes everything. When you put God first, you don't lose anything that was meant for you. You gain clarity, you gain peace, you gain strength that doesn't shake in the storm. You don't just survive, you walk in purpose. You don't just chase dreams, you fulfill destiny, and when people look at your life, they won't see perfection, they'll see power. The kind of power that only comes from a surrendered life. The kind of power that turns valleys into training grounds and setbacks into setups. So don't wait for the perfect moment, make this the moment. Choose today, make the decision, realign your priorities, reignite your faith, reclaim your purpose, and let the world see what happens when one person decides to live a life fully committed, fully surrendered, fully led by God. That's not weakness, that's strength, that's not fantasy, that's real power, that's legacy. Put God first, and watch him take you further than you could ever take yourself.